Okay, welcome back, dear friends. So this session is to reflect on an advice of the Buddha, and for those who are new, just to let you know that this session is referring to the stanzas that we find in the book called Dhamma. This book was compiled with a collection of Buddha's advice to monks and also with reference to people, with their actions and their attitudes, and in most cases to support good actions and also to guide to those who have performed wrong actions. So yesterday we referred to, as you know, we are in the fourth chapter, which is about flowers, and we referred to the two types of ways the Buddha had referred to flowers. In the previously, some time ago, we referred that a person who starts collecting flowers will not be satisfied but will seek for more flowers, in which case it was an analogy given by a garland maker who actually will look for flowers but will never be satisfied with the number or the type of flowers that one may gather. And that was referred to a person's pursuit to sensual pleasures, karma. So karma would be, or kamesu would be about looking for entertainment or excitement, or to please the senses. One would continue to look for one after another, a bit. It's like they say box of chocolates where you don't know what is next, so you will keep on wanting to actually pursue. So we'll look for more and more flowers, and sometimes if it was like in a flower garden, you'd be completely going from one flower to another, collecting and gathering. Whereas yesterday we referred to quite a different one, where the flower is used again, but it is used in a different context. It is used in such a context that when a person gathers flowers, that gathering of flowers is seen as being able to refer to some good things. So a person would gather flowers and make garlands. So when you gather flowers, a person who makes garlands will start making, with the gathered flowers, lovely garlands. Now if it was, say for example, a person who made garlands and sold, obviously the attempt will be try to make the garland as best as possible, and therefore from the heap of flowers collected by someone, a lovely garland is made. And similarly, with all the things and all the chances and opportunities available, one should always do good deeds. Now obviously in this case it is saying, yesterday we referred to the word jatena macchena. So a person who is subject to birth and decay, so which again is talking to us about the impermanence or how vulnerable our lives are. And therefore I made reference yesterday to being born human is quite rare, and even being born when the Buddha's teachings are available is more rare. So let us not lose the opportunity to learn the Dhamma while we are born with a good rational capacity. Let us practice the Dhamma, because we are vulnerable to birth and decay, which again is a reference point for the ongoing sansaric life, continuous birth and death, and until we attain Nibbana or enlightenment or Nirvana. So in all of these sansaric lives, the innumerous lives, We have to be very fortunate to be born a human. So let us not lose that opportunity, and therefore it is said, Kattabbang kusalang bahung, do lots of good deeds. Okay, so we made a vague reference to two types of looking at the deeds. One is to look at from a merit point of view. So merit is something like you do something good, you reap what you sow. So what you sow, you reap. So if you do good deeds, there's definitely bound to be good results. It all depends on the intention behind the good deeds. So therefore, once the intentions are upright, if the intentions are upright, the good deeds will always be fruitful. So that is from the merit context. But again, to look from the kusala context, we can make the merit a skillful action, and referring to something such as charitable or good deeds. If you do good deeds with intentions to subsidize or reduce your greed or hate or ignorance, then that is definitely going to be a skillful act. And kusala or skillful act is important to shorten our sansaric life. And when you shorten sansaric life, which can be if you do good deeds, you don't know when you will have that ignition or that spark of wisdom that helps you to achieve enlightenment. So the more good deeds you do, the more deeds that you actually do with great intention and good intention, there's definitely going to be a moment where we will have that spark of wisdom. And for that spark of wisdom, the good deed should be more or less like habitual or a second nature. The tendencies that we develop should always be focused on developing skills, and those skills will help us to shorten our sansaric life. And given the moment when those tendencies or when those become skillful tendencies, there is always a moment for a spark of wisdom to come. We know in the Buddha's life stories, many monks who actually achieve enlightenment by just listening to one word of the Buddha was like in the samsara they had practiced the paramita or the perfections, what we call, that is important to achieve enlightenment. They had practiced in a long series of human births. And during the Buddha's time, they only had to listen to one or two words of the Buddha. Sometimes a spark of wisdom or that the type of ability for the Buddha to advise during, depending on the situation would be, and the mentality would be what we call paracitta vijaranana. So to know other people's or to read other people's mind, and Buddha had that quality, and he was able to give that the best of advice that would actually enable them to achieve enlightenment. So, kattabang kusalang bahum, always do lots of good deeds. Always do lots of good deeds. Now, in this case, again, as I said, good deeds is more or less seen as skills. But the story behind this, this was to do with the benefactress, the chief benefactress or Dayaka of the Buddha was Visakha. So Visakha never stopped doing good deeds, even though she had attained or become Sotapan at early stage in life. But the reason why I actually continued to stay with this even from yesterday was to actually refer to one thing that might be quite important to our, which is quite often referred to in Buddhism, to family life. And when Visakha had come to a suitable age of marriage, she married Punnavardhana, son of Migara, a very rich man in Savatthi. So Dhananjaya, her father, gave Visakha some advice, and this is quite important for family life. So I just want to refer to the first 5, but I will refer to all of them at the moment. Do not carry the indoor fire outside. Do not carry the outdoor fire inside. Give only to those that give. Do not give to those that do not give. Give both to those that give and do not give. And that first 5, which I might elaborate a little bit later on. The other 5 are sit happily, eat happily, sleep happily, basically live the life of, enjoy life happily. Tend the fire would be about looking after precious things, or even the in-laws, and honor the household divinities, or those days they to be household held deities, and to respect, basically to respect the belief and practices of the in-laws. Now the first 5, do not carry the indoor fire outside, which is quite, the fire here is what we were talking about in terms of the speech some few days ago in the Dhamma. It is about other people's businesses. So when you say don't carry the indoor fire outside, would be about do not be in a position where either the husband or wife would be talking about the internal stuff in a slandering approach, in a spiteful approach. Now, no one should actually, so basically with the social media and context so much nowadays, the slightest absence of mindfulness can make you say certain things which might ruin the relationship. So if you avoid taking the indoor fire or internal issues outside, now if it is to do with certain types of thing, we might need counseling, such as that is important, because there's no point bearing certain, nowadays we might use the word abuse and stuff. So that is not what we're talking about here perhaps, but because those things have to be referred to for counseling and for protection matters, with so much happening nowadays. Where in this case, do not carry indoor fire outside would be like, there can be certain disagreements and certain things, but that can be a tale for others, and this is where it ruins the family life. It will break up families. So don't let a small explanation or a small incident become a point of gossip for others. So by the time, it can be like the Chinese whispers, as one small said story could turn out to be a complete different story by the time it reaches the 10th or 12th person. So don't carry the inside fire outside whatsoever. Similarly, do not bring outside fire inside. The amount of time we might spend on social media sometimes is all about looking and talking or referring to other people's lifestyles. So if you use other people's ideas or things, do it for better rather than for gossip points. Do not, if you bring other people's interests into your personal family life, then your family life can be a point of destruction, or separate issues can come up when you talk and bring other people's matters into your personal life. So the more time you spend, rather you spend that time for your personal reflection and improve your status or your family life. So don't carry outside fire, or don't bring outside fire inside. Other people's business is not your business. It'll turn out to be a gossip. It'll turn out to be reasons for disagreements, turn out to be reasons to develop sometimes not just jealousy but even anger. So in a family life, that is quite important, not to take your internal stuff outside, neither to bring external stuff inside to your personal family. Your relationship is quite unique, and it should stay the same, and it should stay bound with happiness. So this is what the Vishakha got advice from her father. And the thirdly is give only to those that give. So if you do lend certain money or certain things, make sure you give to those who give it back. So that means it is about protecting your life and your means of living as well. If you are jeopardizing and if you give, make sure you only give to those who give it back. Because the fourth one is don't give to those who don't give back. So no point giving. So if someone promises to give back and you have learned a lesson, or that X person actually does not return things, never give to those according to the father's advice to Visakha. And fifth is, do not give to those that do not give, which is more or less about, think about poor relatives and friends. So there are people who really are in desperate need. So if someone can, the third and the fourth one is about who cannot handle and keep their promises, more or less. But if there are really poor friends and relatives who deserve your help, even if they do not return, that's fine. Be generous. Be generous to support their living, to support their business, but don't expect that to come back. And there can be a certain type of people or certain amount that you would possibly want to share. That's fine. If you can afford, please. It means you can help each other. But don't expect that, because they might not be in a state to give you at all. So I believe this is something that in the Buddha's time there are lots of landlords as well, and people do suffer if they cannot return, and therefore when one suffers, the person will not be able to do anything good. So I just wanted to share those 5 things, something that might really help even in our living today. And most important, the first 2 things: don't take inside fire outside. Don't take internal matters outside, your family life matters. In social media nowadays, even if you post where you are and stuff like that, and your situations, and it can turn out to be a complete different matter gradually. Similarly, bringing other people's thing to gossip within your family might ruin the peace of in between relationships that you have. So that is quite important to share. However, going a bit further, coming back to the story, where when Vishaka, obviously when she was married to Migara, was very wealthy, but where she was Buddhist obviously, but Migara was not. So when a monk was coming to for alms begging, Vishaka happens to say, "I'm sorry, Venerable Sir, my father-in-law only eats stale food." And this is quite interesting in terms of with reference to the Gatha. My father eats stale food. Now on hearing this, Migara got very angry and ordered her to leave the house immediately. Vishaka replied she would not leave the house. Instead, she would summon the 8 elders who was sent by her father to accompany her and advise her on any problems she might face in the new home. And it was for them to decide whether she was guilty or not. And when the elders came, Migara told them, "While I was eating lovely food in a golden bowl, Vishaka said that I eat stale food." And this actually obviously was seen as an offense. So therefore Migara said, I don't want her anymore in my house. And then Vishaka explains what she meant. Vishaka actually meant, my father-in-law is only experiencing or actually just spending all the merit he had accumulated in past lives. He's never doing a new good thing. He has never done anything good in my presence. He has never done anything good for himself for hereafter. So yesterday I referred to the word as account. If you have some money, hard-earned money, and if you keep on spending and not top it up, then eventually that account will run out to zero. Similarly, the merit that you accumulate from your previous lives and this life, and you stop doing good deeds, you are just spending your happiness, your fortune, your experience that you have, even your happiness that you have because you are getting support and you are getting any amount of support from friends and family. But if you are not doing anything more new, then that account is going to run out. Your happiness slowly, the merit that you have, the punya that you have will slowly reduce. So therefore Vishaka was saying that my father-in-law is only eating stale food, which means is only experiencing or is only experiencing the results of his previous good karma, but is not doing any good karma for himself for future lives. Because, as I said, it is in the context of samsaric life. So if you do not do anything new, good, if you do not do anything virtuous or even righteous, even meritorious, you will not then have anything for future, because you will be leading a very good happy life, and slowly what might happen is you will just develop craving to what you have. You will just be self-centered, live a selfish life, will not share with people, will not do anything good to other people, neither even for yourself as well. So a person is not doing anything good thereafter. So therefore, if you do something good every day, every moment, going back to my 2 words, one, it will also help you in your future lives, because every moment, every good tendency becoming a second nature as a skillful and meritorious moment, then our lives, ourselves being very vulnerable to life and death, we might not be born as a human again. So we have to make the most out of this time. We might not be the last moment of our thought, the last moment or last thought in this life is what makes our next life, what is the immediate factor for our next life. So if we live mindfully and do good things and develop good skills in our actions, words and thoughts or thinking processes, then we will always be happy, we'll always be doing good deeds, not just for now but also for hereafter, and we'll also be converting that good deeds into skills which is conducive or helpful for the attainment of enlightenment as well. So kattabang kusalang bahung, do lots of good deeds, means every moment should be done not just or lived not just to experience your previous good karma, but also make it an opportunity to accumulate something for your future expenditure, if you put it that way, as well as develop skills to attain enlightenment. And the key essence here is, don't live a life with missed opportunities. Let us always be mindful, do good deeds for yourself, for your family, for your friends, for your future, and then that will always be helpful, because if we are to be born a human is rare, and if you're born in as a human during the Buddha's time and practicing some and developing or gaining insight and realization of the truth is also more important. So that's the most important thing, because you can attain enlightenment perhaps even here and now, right now. So try to realize the truth. Try to disconnect from your personal interest in terms of desires and hate and ignorance, and always free your mind from those things. So that is where the Puppavagga is quite important. It's not just about flowers, but the flowers being used as an example is quite important. And let me recall again, let us not be a person who collects flowers, seeing beautiful flowers and want more flowers, but with the flowers that you have, let's make a nice garland, which means with the opportunities that you have, let us actually do lots of good deeds. Okay, so evang jatena macchena kattabang kusalang bahum. So with that short reflection, we will come to a close to today's Dhamma reflection, and that was the stanza from the Flowers chapter in the Dhammapada. So it is time for us to meditate. Let us develop this peace of mind and stay happy, because happiness is about your state of mind. So 3 instructions. So have a balanced body, sit straight, Don't rest your elbows if you're sitting on a sofa. If you're leaning on a chair, come forward unless you're physically unable to. So come forward and have a balanced body. And then your right hand on your left palm and eyes gently closed. First, be mindful of your posture. Just observe the way you're sitting. It's very peaceful, it's calm, and it's not restless. That's quite important to notice. There's absence of motion at the moment. It's a complete stillness, unless you choose to move. Being observant of this stillness is quite important. And appreciate your good health, appreciate your sacrifice, committing to this evening for this observance, for this practice. Means that you have been able to let go of your personal interests. So freeing yourself from your personal interest is quite important in the happiness that we are talking about. Now be mindful of those around you. If there are any other members of the family sitting with you, observe their presence and thank them for the support that you are getting. That mutual support is very important for the spiritual journey that you are taking. Even support as an online community is quite important. If there are other members in the family not attending with you, don't criticize, no comments, be happy for what they are doing and simply let go and come to your observation of the stillness. Now be mindful of your surroundings for a while, infrastructure, things around you. And you can see everything is still. It's not restless. What makes us restless would be trying to meet your desires. So if you let go of everything, the body can stay still. Similarly, your mind, if it is wandering, that means it is looking for something. So let go of all your likes and expectations. All the expectations are with your personal judgments and conclusions that we have. Even perhaps your knowledge that you use to filter and create conclusive opinions we call fixed views. The more we cling to these, the more we expect, and therefore the mind always wanders looking for these expectations or entertainments. So if you are able to discard them, your mind should be as still as the body. When we have expectations and all these conclusive judgments and opinions, we lay down conditions and see those conditions are so harmful in personal interaction with people. Even if it is with the members in your home, at your home, the conditions that you may have in your mind is harmful for any relationships. You are not looking after each other because of the conditions that you have. So when you free yourself from conditions, there is happiness every day, every time, every moment. The more we cling on to these conditions, we start to become impatient. And when we are impatient, we develop irritation and anger. These conclusive opinions that you have generates more frustration and irritation. And sometimes, when the dissatisfaction reaches its peak, we might feel very frustrated, and we call that anger. And that anger is never a will-wishing mind, but always ill-wishing mind. You want something to happen to the other person. You dislike other person's things or possessions or success. So it turns to revenge and frustration and a position or a point where you cannot forgive, because you're so much hooked into your personal view, personal clinging, or personal attachment or condition. But when all of these are not there, the mind is at peace, very peaceful, very peaceful. So you know now that only things that disturb this peace of mind that you have is your expectation. That expectation that turns to dissatisfaction, which is attachment and anger, lobha and dosa. So if you discard them, that happiness, that stillness in your mind, only you yourself can interpret it the way you feel. That absence of expectation is happiness. And this is possible by developing metta, kindness, because no one would want to always be in a state of revenge or anger. So you have to free yourself from these to experience that happiness. And if you develop a mindset to wish this always, so the things that you do for yourself even is done out of kindness. Similarly, the things that we do for each other, the interaction that we have, the conversation that we have is always out of kindness. And this is metta, loving kindness in Buddhism. So think in these terms and reflect and contemplate on these. And always think in this manner, may I be well, happy and peaceful. May no harm come to me. May no problems come to me. May no difficulties come to me. May I always meet with success. May I also have the patience, courage and understanding to meet and overcome difficulties in life. May I be free from anger and jealousy. May I be free from frustration, anxiety and worries. May I be free from pain and suffering. And we can share this well-wishing thought to the ones that you are associated with every day. So when we call out the stations, if they are not alive, don't bring them to your thoughts. If they are alive, simply bring the lovely moments or faces to your mind. And if they don't relate to you, just skip the stations. May my parents, grandparents, teachers, uncles and aunts, in-laws, husband, wife or partner, children and grandchildren, brothers and sisters, cousins, nephews and nieces, friends, colleagues, neighbors, everyone in the neighborhood, and those that you meet neutrally every day. May they all be well, happy and peaceful. May no harm come to them. May no problems come to them. May no difficulties come to them. May they always meet with success. May they also have the patience, courage and understanding to meet and overcome difficulties in life. May they be free from anger and jealousy. May they be free from frustration, anxiety and worries. May they be free from pain and suffering. May all living beings, including your pets, birds, animals and insects that come to your garden, seen and unseen beings, including all sentient beings, be well, happy and peaceful. May no harm come to them. May no problems come to them. May no difficulties come to them. May they always meet with success. May they also have the patience, courage and understanding to meet and overcome difficulties in life. May they be free from pain and suffering. May I be well, happy and peaceful. May I be free from pain and suffering. So, thank you for joining so far. We have just finished our Dhamma reflection and meditation on loving kindness. Every day we go live at 6:30 with our worship, chanting, Dhamma reflection and meditation. And the series will continue until the 24th of October when we hold our robe offering ceremony. And the series of meritorious deeds that you are participating, especially from homes during this lockdown time, are the religious observances that we have organized during this Rains Retreat, where London Mindfulness Meditation Center, we dedicate ourselves to learning the Dhamma, reminding us of the Dhamma, deepening our knowledge and even our practices. So to support you, we go live at 6:30 every day. So do join us again tomorrow at 6:30. And if you'd like to sponsor a day to make the Dhamma sermon or meditation or chanting available for the wider community, please do contact us and then we will direct you to the relevant people. So today the sponsors, Mr. Lucian and Ishani de Soisa, along with their children Meru and Aryan, joined by Dilaksa and Menika and Caprice, wish to dedicate, especially wishing Mrs. Ishani de Soisa's father, Vipula Nanakar, a very happy birthday. He is celebrating his birthday, 70th birthday tomorrow in Canada. And along with the righteous intentions are also to wish both her parents, Mr. Vipula and Mrs. Renuka Nanakara, a very happy and successful life, cherished with and nurtured with good health. So may the blessings of the Buddha Dhamma Sangha be upon them for their well-being, and also the Chaminian family and Keshantian family, and including the sponsors' families and you as an online community from London Mindfulness Meditation Center. We wish you a very happy and peaceful days ahead. May you enjoy good health and enjoy every happiness. So thank you for joining us so far and stay safe. Have a very good evening. See you tomorrow at 6:30.